everybody. Today I'm going to show you another easy meal that we like to make on the truck with the Instant Pot. What's up, y'all? So today I want to show you something that is super easy to make in the Instant Pot. This really doesn't have a name and there's no really recipe for it. I like to call it homemade hamburger helper. Back in the day when I first got out on my own and in my own apartment, I used to love making hamburger helper. And we all know that's not the most healthiest thing, but this is kind of a healthier alternative and it's kind of along the same lines as a hamburger helper, so that's why I call it. As all of the things that I cook, you can put whatever kind of ingredients, switch out the ingredients to your taste and your liking or to what you have on the truck. What I'm going to be using today, the main thing is going to be using a boxed mac and cheese. So I've got the shells and white cheddar. We're going to use hamburger meat. I'm going to be using peas. A lot of times I'll use green pepper, but I'm going to use peas today. I've got some chopped red onion, milk, bone broth, which I'm substituting for water. If you've been watching any of my cooking videos, you know I like to use bone broth in place of water. We've got butter, ghee, and just the simple seasonings I'm going to use today are black pepper and all seasoned salt. So to get started, we're going to saute our onions. Let's do that. Alright guys, so our onions are getting translucent. The next step is I'm going to go ahead and add our hamburger meat and we're going to brown that. Now one thing I did want to mention, if I was going to be using some bell pepper with this, I would have cooked that when I cooked the onions as well. But since I'm not going to be using bell peppers and I'm going to be using peas, that's going to be cooked a little bit differently and I'll show you that in a bit. Alright, so our meat is all nice and browned. Next step we're going to do is we want to drain the grease off of the meat. And I found a really easy way that I use on the truck. It just works for us. But I have an old, just empty Folgers container, and I have this is just a cheapy mesh strainer, and actually I need to get a new one. I think I'm going to get a metal one. Jason, when we bought this, let me just give him some props.
Give me some props.
Because when I bought this, it came in a set of 3, and they're just plastic cheap. I think that was like $2.
$2 for 3 of them, yeah. Yeah, they were
like
cheap.
That. And I'm like, oh, it's cheap. Let's just get the cheap one. Jason's like, no, let's get the metal one. I'm like, no. So as you can see from putting hot grease in it, it's kind of the things have closed up. That's why it looks like that. It still works, but yeah, I do need to get a metal one. But this is what I do to drain the grease. And like I said, it's super easy.
Should have listened to me in the first place.
It really works well for me on the truck. We're going to just take our Instant Pot. We're just going to pour our ground beef. And this strainer is like the perfect size for this container. That's why it works so well. And if you wonder, I use the silicone mitts. They work really well and easy to handle the Instant Pot versus just regular pot holders. I got most of it. If you don't get everything out, that's fine. It's all going to cook together anyway. So what I usually do at this point is I will let this sit and kind of naturally drain down while I get my macaroni cooking in the Instant Pot. So let's set this aside. What we're going to do next is we're going to cook our macaroni in the Instant Pot. So easy. All we're going to do with this is we are going to use 2 tablespoons of butter, which I have here. Next, we're going to add a cup of water, or in my case, bone broth. This little container is exactly 1 cup. Next, we're going to add our pasta, and it's uncooked pasta. You just pour it right in there. Now, since I'm using peas in this, I'm going to add them in to cook with the pasta as well. That will kill two birds with one stone in cooking our pasta and our peas at the same time. Everything is mixed in. I'm just going to give it a quick little stir, so it's kind of all nice and even in there. Then we are going to put our lid on. Make sure, as always, that your little vent here is to ceiling. We're going to do manual, and we're going to cook. It's already on 4 minutes, high pressure. As always, it will take a couple minutes for this to come to pressure. Once it does, it will cook for 4 minutes, and then we are going to do a quick release. And that's all it takes for the pasta, which is so fast and easy. Okay, so our 4 minutes is up. I'm going to do a quick release. I'm going to place this washcloth over just so the steam doesn't go up on here. Do our quick release. One thing I do want to mention is when you're doing a quick release is you want to wait to open until your little valve stem goes down. It's right here. Once all of the pressure is released, that will drop down, and that's telling you it's safe to open. All right, so our little valve has dropped. It is safe to open. Let's give this an open. Ooh, look at that. That looks good. So if you look in there, we've got our noodles are cooked good, and our peas are also cooked. Now, the next step is we're basically going to add everything you would when you're making boxed macaroni and cheese, which is the cheese it comes with. Let's add that. And then we're going to add 1/4 cup of milk. I'm just adding a 1/4 cup of almond milk. You can use whatever, if you use regular milk. I've used heavy whipping cream before, but I did have some almond milk, so I'm using that. We're going to give this a nice stir. Whenever your Instant Pot finishes cooking, it always goes to a keep warm status. If you see here, I haven't taken my protective plastic off, that's why it looks kind of funny, but it's in a keep warm, and I just leave it on that as I'm mixing in my milk and cheese. Now, once I've got that all mixed in, the next thing I'm going to do is just add my hamburger meat that I've already cooked. Now, I've just been letting it sit here and draining the whole time. Sometimes I will smush it down with a spoon just to get any excess off, which I did do. One thing I also want to mention that I did not show is as my meat was browning, I did add my seasonings, which again, you can use whatever kind of seasonings you like, but that's the time that I add my seasonings, when I'm browning my meat. So we're going to go ahead and pour this in. And give it a stir. And that is the finished product, guys. Look at that. Doesn't that look tasty? So let's get this plated up. Now, you can add some shredded cheese into this if you'd like. I am just going to actually add some to the top of ours once I get this plated. So let's get some in here. And we're going to just top with a little bit of shredded cheese. How does that look? What do you think, guys? I think it's going to be tasty. Guys, so that is my easy hamburger helper, if you want to call it that. We'll call it the crafty hamburger helper. How about that? If you all have any questions on this recipe, leave me a comment down below. Also, leave me a comment if you're going to try it, or if you have tried it, come back and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. There's so many ways you can do this. It's quick, it's easy, and it's filling. It's really a good, quick, easy recipe you can make on your truck. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching and subscribing. And until our next video, peace, love, and expediting.